Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Tech K. Don't forget to like and subscribe my channel for more Jira related updates. So today we are going to discuss about the workflow. That is the most critical part of the any Jira project. This is the baseline where we try to understand how our tickets or the work items gonna proceed while working on this project. As an admin, we'll try to understand what are the configuration of any project, how we go about. So let's dive in. We have to go to the project B, which comes under spaces because we can only update the workflow for any existing project. So first create the project, then you can go and do the editing in the workflow. So let's click on the three dots. We will find the space setting here, which will direct us to the workflow. Okay, so as we can see is the project B, project management workflow, which shows the work type as task and subtask, and the action. We have to click on the edit workflow. This is because this is what we want. This is the current workflow. If I want to streamline it, we can just do the drag and drop thing to make it visually more appealing. And if we want to see the transition, we can click on this. Otherwise, we can untick it to not see these transitions. So let's try to add a new status. Here is a general understanding which you can see. So the first to do is in the gray color as a Jira. So the color theory work like that. So in progress is marked as blue and green is for done. So whatever status which you create which falls under the closing of the whole cycle or the workflow will be in the green color, and whatever status you add on in between to do and done will be in the blue color. I think nobody actually tell you about, but this is a very basic general understanding while working on the workflow. So let's try to add a new status which is review, which will come because I'm not very sure if it's coming. If you want to choose any existing status, you can obviously go and click any of this, but if your status is not present and you want to add something new, then you have to click on the create new status, which is under review. This is something different. I'm just using from not the existing statuses, and I want my category to fall under my status category to fall under done. I think we should keep it in progress. So we'll keep it in between in progress and done. So I'll just make it more visually appealing like this so that you guys can understand how it looks. So done should come in the end. Let's connect the in progress to under review, which is sent to under review. I'm just using the transition name here, which will help us in understanding where our ticket is actually moving. This is one way, but you can see that it is both ways in other tickets. So to make it both ways, we have to click on this, and then I can click on return to in progress. Or anything would you like, as here you can see stop progress, they have mentioned reopen and done. Likewise, I want my in progress to done as deleted because I want this to be done from under review section to done. Let's adjust the screen, I guess. Okay. Whatever transition, whenever I click on the status, this sidebar comes in and it will show the transition of the tickets between these two, because right now I have just configured these two. And if I want all those issues or work items in my workflow to directly move to my status, then I can click on this checkbox and allow any status to move to this. But this actually a very easy way out of doing stuff. But if I want to constrain some movement of ticket from one status to another, I can definitely map my whole path of the work item. But I always advise that because clicking it to any is just doesn't make much sense. It's just more for human error. If there is anything and you want anybody to drag and drop on any of these statuses, for that reason it's fine, but otherwise it's always in a good practice to have every status mapped correctly to the, you can say, all statuses. So right now I'm just pushing this workflow from the ticket from under review to done. So we can write send to done. And likewise, I'm just keeping my done status to under review as return to done, return to under review. Great. So by now you can understand that my ticket can move both ways. Like it won't directly go from under review to do because I have make a flow where my work item can move from in progress to under review, or under review to in progress, and my under review to done status, and from done to under review again. But as you can see, I have not mapped the under review to done directly because I think I want to restrict the path that if something is in progress, then only it can go to the under review status, otherwise not. Although if the business requirement says you can map it to like this, then you can definitely go for it. So right now I'm just trying to visualize how our workflow looks better. So this is how from to done, but I don't think so it is making much sense for my workflow. So I can directly just delete it because anything which, yeah, from done to do makes sense for some ticket, I guess, to if it is required to reopen something. But other than that, from to do to done doesn't make much sense to me. It has to flow from this path. So let's delete this one too. I guess from in progress to done still makes sense. So let's keep it as it is. So this is the final workflow as we have planned. I think it's pretty clear now. So now if you want to add some more updates to it, like whenever this ticket is moved from one status to another, I want some properties or some, you can say, rules attached to it during the transition, that some user can auto assign, like the user who is moving this ticket from to do to in progress, that user is automatically assigned. So we can go to the perform action, validate details. These are the actually rules which we can use while transitioning the ticket from one place to another. So let's try to understand how it works. Add a restriction transition rule. If I want that it blocks the condition until approval. So if there is you can say a custom field or something like that in my ticket which needs some approval, then I can restrict my transition by blocking the work item till it's been approved. So there is another restriction transition which actually validates kind of also on the same way. Restrict based on the status of subtask. So only allow the work item to be transitioned when its subtask has a specific status. So this is a very specific transition restriction which you can say, which only allow the work item when there is a subtask, already existing subtask, and that subtask should have a specific status to it, then only it will transition to the next status. To restrict from all users, don't allow anyone to move it. So if you want to have a list of people only to move certain tickets, then we can also restrict it. Restrict to when a field is specific value, when there is a specific value in the custom field which we have created. So we can also restrict the transition in a way with specific values. Restrict to when the work item has been through the specific status only. Obviously that is understood. Restrict who is previously updated on the work item status. Restrict who can move this work item again. It's for the certain amount of people who can do it. We can also request input here. This is basically to show a screen. So whenever we go here, we have to create a transition screen first, as per my previous video if you have seen, where I gave you the tutorial on how to create the screen. So first we have to create the transition screen, then we have to attach the screen here with any custom field in it. So because that custom field in the screen is going to validate this transition. So that's how we use the transition rule here. So there are another validate details like require work item to be form attached if there is an attachment to it, and if a submission required the form submission on work item validates a field when there is a custom field is having certain values in it. Validate if the work item has specific status and the parent work item in specific status, whether the people have a specific permission to it. So let's go to the perform action. Now we come to assign a work item. So this actually is very helpful and frequently being used because nobody wants to directly go to assign to me section. So it automatically detects the person who is moving the ticket from one status to another and auto assign that work item to that person who is doing it. Copy the value of one field to another and set a work item security level. So this actually helps for specific role to move this, again the transition of this ticket. Trigger a webhook if you want to connect it to another app or something like that. So for that reason you can trigger it, because this will actually help in triggering another automation process. So update a work item field. So here actually if you have some field in it which you want to update with certain value automatically while moving it, this is very critical actually. We can use it later. I'll make a complete video on that, how to do it. So let's use this as of now for demo purpose. So whenever the person who is moving from to do to in progress, let's choose a person. So we can either select the person or we can just mark the current user. If you have the list of people who are logged into your Jira account, you will see as an admin the list of people who are already in the project, you will see their name here. You can type down their ID if you are already confirmed that this person needs to be assigned with this ticket. Otherwise, you can always use the current user. So it will automatically assign to the current user, irrespective of that person ID. So right now, as you can see, there is a perform action. You can see it can assign the work item. I guess it's been done by twice. Let's delete the rule. So this thing, actually, we need to do it. We can, okay, validate the detail if there is anything, request input. Again, we have discussed with the screen. Okay, we are good to go. So let's update the workflow. So now if you want to add the screen, as we have seen in the transition, say under review, we want to add a screen between in progress to under review section, and we have to go to this section, show a screen. So let's work around how to do and put some values in it. Let's close this workflow because we have already updated the workflow now. So let's go to the screen section. You want it during the create issue, so let's click on the edit icon. Edit. This is actually the create issue. So this will lead to this, but now we have to go to the screens, not the schemes. And we have to add the screen. First we add the screen, then we link that screen to that project, and then we will use that in our workflow. So this is the whole idea on which we are working. So let's first add the screen that is for our project B, where it will be from the transition screen between in progress to under review. So instead of having this whole big thing, I think we should reduce it in a way. Let's keep it like this. I think this looks simple. If you want to describe this process, you can also mention that this is the transition screen which will appear between in progress to under review section, under review status. So this actually gonna help to somebody in the team. If you have multiple admin who are working on the project, they will understand by just going through it. Like in this, you can read it out that now our screen is being created. We have not given a field to it. So first we go and click on it. So let's select the field which we want to appear on the transition screen. Let's move it to the change reason. We want change reason to appear in the transition screen. Okay, now our screen is ready with the field. So we have to go back to it. But it's not linked to screen any project right now. We have to also configure it. Okay, we can see it.